Welcome back to the Football Terrace. A price has been provisionally set for Jadon Sancho's transfer away from Borussia Dortmund this summer. That's been confirmed by leading German journalist Patrick Berger, who states that Dortmund have initially agreed to sell Jadon Sancho this summer for around 85 to 90 million euros. This price in itself matches exactly what we said it would be. We said that you will find that Dortmund will lose out in comparison to the money that was offered last year by Manchester United. It would be down on that due to the financial circumstances that football in general finds itself in. But it's been confirmed this morning, as we say, that Jadon Sancho's move away from Borussia Dortmund is getting closer. Where he will end up is still another big debate to be had in and around football. But the price is being set for circa 85 to 90 million euros. The deadline is most likely to be at the end of July before they leave for pre-season. Manchester United are one of the clubs, of course, still reportedly interested. Liverpool have shown an interest in recent times. There are still rumours that Chelsea could find themselves in the hunt to try and bring him to Stamford Bridge. There's also an additional story today from Leah Smith that says Dortmund's deadline to sell Sancho this summer is before the Euros. So an agreement needs to be in place quickly. This in itself will probably pose an element of frustration to Man United fans because we're renowned for being slow at getting signings done, getting transfers over the line, finished, etc., and all that jazz. Leah Smith's been very, very consistent in recent weeks in regards to this. But Dortmund have set another deadline, reportedly. They do have a gentleman's agreement in place with Jadon Sancho to sell him this summer. Manchester United has said to still be relatively keen. And two other problem areas that were put in front of Jadon Sancho, according to the mainstream media for many, many weeks, were a striker to replace Cavani and a centre-back to replace Eric Bailly. Both of those individuals have agreed, one officially, one to be announced very soon, to remain at Manchester United moving into the 2021-22 season. Mostly Jadon Sancho, or at least the position that he occupies from that right-hand side of the attack, as a primary focus now for Manchester United moving forward. But as ever, I want your views. I want your opinions. I want to know what you think in relation to this story. Hit that like button right now. Share this on your social media platforms. We want to hear from all of you today. We're going to take your calls a little bit later. Dortmund CEO says Haaland will stay next season. It's as if by magic, Neeks has all the same sources as me, but yet he does, because we report on what the media is saying. And this is absolutely true. There's so many stories out there circulating. And one of the things I read this morning, and I want to actually read it word for word here. I want to make sure I get this right. It seems to have disappeared off my timeline in front of me. Let me just find this now. This was a comment that was made by Fabrizio Romano just a few days ago. It's from the director at Dortmund that says, we already have a gentleman's agreement with Jadon Sancho since last year that he can leave this summer under certain conditions. That means deadlines of bids and the right amount of money. However, there is no agreement exists with Haaland. So Dortmund have made their stance very, very clear when it comes to Haaland, that they don't want to sell him this summer. They want to keep him for another year. Whether or not that transpires, I do believe if a mammoth world record bid was to come in for him, I think they could budge. There's always a price, but it's whether or not. Remember, the initial, if you buy Haaland this summer, the investment over a 5-year period looks to be circa £400 million in total. It's a huge amount of money. Are clubs willing to do it? That's always been the big question surrounding this. Cody here says, here we go again. If we pull off this move this summer for less than our initial bid last summer, I think Dortmund made a bad decision, and I'm pissed that the deal just didn't happen last year. And I think from a fan point of view, I get that. From Man United's perspective, if they get him a year later at maybe 15, 20 million pound less than their final bid was somewhere in the region of 100 million pounds. They pick him up for 85 million euros. I mean, what's that in in pounds. Just now with current exchange rate. Let me just type that in. I don't know what the exchange rate is. That's about 73 million pounds. So imagine they go from offering nearly 100 million pounds to getting in for around the low 70s to mid 70s. That represents very good business. But from a fan point of view, that extra 25 million, that extra 25 mil, what could that have done for us this year? Well, actually, but that's folly, really. Doesn't actually make sense. I've done myself. We offered that and they didn't accept it. They wanted, 120. So we could pick him up for nearly 50 million pounds less than last year. The question is, with spending the extra 50 million on Sancho last summer, what more would that have done for us this year? Would it have made us win the Champions League? Would it made us have won the Premier League? If the answer is no, then it's worth waiting. If the answer is I actually think Jadon Sancho could have come in and improved us to that degree, then that would make complete and utter sense to everybody. From a statistical point of view, and we're focused on Man United here because they're the leaders in this race. We look here at Jadon Sancho and we look at him and compare him to Rashford, who's in red, Greenwood in purple, and Anthony Martial in green. You see the goal contributions this year. From a creativity point of view, Jadon Sancho just is phenomenal. There is no doubt about it. Would be the best in class. From a goal-scoring element, more than Greenwood, more than Anthony Martial. And we have to point out in his comparisons to Rashford, he's played about 1,000 minutes less this season due to injury and other factors. He's played about the same amount of minutes as Martial, as slightly less than Mason Greenwood. And remember, he's just 21 years of age. He's still very, very young in himself. And if we look at this from a creative point of view here, this is taken from Squawker, look at the creativity element. Just focusing on creativity. And I've taken Martial out because he's not a creator this year. He played through the middle. Dan James, Mason Greenwood, Rashford. Jadon Sancho creates more chances per game than Rashford, Greenwood, and Dan James combined per 90 minutes. The crossing accuracy, 25% of his crosses are accurate compared to 16 from Rashford, 20 from Greenwood. But look at the atrocious crossing accuracy of Dan James on that right-hand side. Just 5% of his crosses find their targets. Just 5% of his crosses find a man. It's abysmal. So when it comes down to creativity, this is a key component missing with Manchester United and something that needs to be addressed over the course of the summer. There is no doubt about that. And when you look at Jadon Sancho, when you look at what he brings to the football club, it is night and day. Absolute night and day when you look at Sancho compared to all the other inside forwards stroke creators at Man United that play wide positions. We're not talking about Pogba and Bruno, different positions that they take up on the football field. There's a comment here from iTest that says, why am I always trying to draw out Martial? Where have I drawn out Martial? Because I showed his stats compared to Sancho. Not really. I'm just giving you a fact. I've not said a bad word about him. I would say, iTest, get out your feelings, bro. Get out your feelings. This is not about attacking any said Man United player. This is looking at a player that, do you know what? Whether you're Liverpool, whether you're Manchester United, whether you're Chelsea, Jadon Sancho's creativity levels are impeccable, are absolutely impeccable. And all of our teams would benefit from a player like him. And the main reason that we'd benefit from a player like him is because he's so different. Because he's so different to what we already have. And if we go back here to when we look at the goal and assist ratio, again, the creativity levels he has in comparison, and you imagine how many more assists he'd have if he played an extra 1,000 minutes in comparison to Rashford this year. He's doubling. He would double at the rest of our inside forwards put together. Why would you not want that at your football club? I think it would be a madness, an absolute madness to ignore this. It truly, truly would, in my opinion. But another super chat that came in here that I want to go to says, I think it's fair when it comes to outputs that you can say Sancho would achieve 25 to 30% less in the Prem based on the difference in quality. I don't necessarily know if that's true, though. I don't know if that's true because the Bundesliga is high quality. There is no doubt about that. However, Jadon Sancho grew up playing football here. He's English. He isn't going to come to the UK and have this culture shock. He's not going to have this, all the weather or the food or the social element. In fact, he may be even happier here, closer to his friends, closer to his family. I think we would see a very, very potent Jadon Sancho. There's no doubt about that in my mind whatsoever. That being said, those numbers will still improve us immensely. Of course it will. Of course it will. And you imagine that Cavani for a year. So Cavani at the minute, invariably, we've had Rashford with 16% crossing accuracy one side, and then we have Dan James on the other with 5%. Imagine you throw a guy to the right-hand side with a 25% accuracy rate on crosses. Someone that creates an additional 2 and a bit chances more per game than Rashford, who's the highest creator at 0.8. Those extra couple of chances created per game could be the extra 15 points a season that Manchester United need to push on. This is a deal that Man United need to be pushing for. But also Liverpool, also Chelsea. At £73 million, one of the best... I'm going to say this. Jadon Sancho is the best young creative player that England has ever produced. And of course, Dortmund have been instrumental, and Germany and Dortmund have been instrumental in that continuation. I can't find an Englishman. In fact, I can't find a single player to make their debut in a top 4 league in Europe and within and to have the same level of output. I'm going to get this right here because I don't want to mess this up. I'm going to go back and get the actual stat here. It was up in front of me, but the page is now closed down, so I'm going backwards here. I haven't found a young man who forget making debuts in lower level, etc. Made his debut in the Bundesliga. He's played 333 games and he has 108 goal contributions. I cannot find another player in their first 133 professional games in one of the top 4 leagues has contributed that level of outputs. It is unprecedented as a creator, not a goal scorer, as a creator. Absolutely imperative. But as we say, let's go back to the original news that has come out this morning. Borussia Dortmund have set the price according to reports. They have set the price that Jadon Sancho can leave for somewhere in the region of 85 to 90 million euros this summer. The secondary reports that come from Leah Smith, who has said that Dortmund want to get the deal done before the Euros this summer. Dortmund are planning for his exit. They have a gentleman's agreement in place with Jadon Sancho to move him on. Remember, Manchester United still have personal terms agreed. Sancho still wants to join and is happy to join Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the Man United squad in general want Jadon Sancho to arrive. He's responsible for over 30% of Borussia Dortmund's goals this season. He is one of the most talented and gifted creators in world football. His stats and output return for a 21-year-old are unchallenged. They are unchallenged in European football history from debut to 21 years of age and only ever played in one of the top 4 leagues. Nobody has done what Jadon Sancho has. £73 million is somewhere in the region of the asking price for this young man. My message as a football fan for a moment here, rather than a content creator, is get the deal done, Manchester United. And if you're a Chelsea fan, if you're a Liverpool fan, you must be thinking and feeling exactly the same thing. We're going to get man like KJ on with us now. Then we're going to go to your calls. We want to get you on the air today, but let's hit that like button. Let's get this past 500 likes while we're live on the air. There's a weird comment here. It says, Terry, YouTubers are getting blamed for the violence yesterday. Listen, I have no idea why or what this bit. My thought would be certain Man United fans don't like YouTubers because you turned up, it got violent. That isn't a good enough excuse for me. That won't wash. You know, I'm not going to buy that one. It's like, stay away as we'll fight you. I mean, that's the violence there, isn't it? Like, it's that's a madness. That's a madness claim. Whoever has put that out there, it's a madness. The great one here says, how much is Sancho? Well, Dortmund have reportedly set a price, as we say, for 75 to 85 million euros. Remember, that's somewhere in the region of 50 million pounds less than their asking price last year. From a business and commercial element, this could represent a huge, huge win for Manchester United Football Club if they are to pull this off. I've got KJ here with me. KJ, what's your reaction to this news this morning? Dortmund have set a price. Dortmund want it done before the Euros. Man United is still interested, and there's a gentleman's agreement in place with Sancho to allow him to leave. What's your reaction to that news, mate?
Bun the pagans. Legit. Nah, you know what it is. Glazers out on that. Remember, win, lose, draw. Wake up in the morning, go back to sleep. Pagans out, innit? Glazers out. Anyway, get it done. Get it done. If these pagans, want to subdue the hatred, they have to try and make us a better football team. They have to try and make us one of the best teams in the world, and the fans will get off your back. They won't like you, but they'll get off your back. They need to sign this. As a football club, we need Jadon Sancho. Cavani's staying for an extra year, so that striker option that people were wanting. Indian, I see in your comments. I see you. Don't worry. We're not going to buy a striker now that Cavani is going to renew his contract just for the year. So we need to fill another hole. And right wing and DM are the two holes we need filled immediately. So this is good news. Obviously, it's all down to Man United now, getting this done quick. When have United done a quick deal? The only one recently was Donny van der Beek. Like, that's one out of how many summers you can really think of where it's just like bang, done.
Done quick, yeah, out of there.
Even Dan James took weeks. I know a part of that was due to his passing of his dad. We can understand that. But even the build up towards Dan James, that took like 2-3 weeks for a championship player. Are you mad?
No, I totally agree, mate. What's your thoughts on these statistics we put out this morning? So when you look at him creatively compared to other inside forwards at Manchester United, it just looks like a no-brainer of a deal, doesn't it?
Yeah, we have to do it. I know Ites was like crying over Martial, fam. No one was dissing Martial. We're just looking at the facts that are in front of us. Terry's got Dan James on there, Mason Greenwood and Marcus Rashford to show how much better he is at creating than these guys. And it's fact. You know what I mean? Look at it. We need this in our team. We need this in our team. One of our kryptonites, one of our weaknesses is the low block. Us taking time and a while and fumbling over the line sometimes against these teams that are resolute and want to defend in their box. Jadon Sancho is someone who can unlock that door. And I believe we've got many players in our team that want to score goals anyway. So adding extra creativity cannot be a bad thing.
Mate, I totally agree. And you know what's interesting when you look at it? I didn't put Martial on that list because I was looking at people that have played inside forward this year. Martial has actually been more creative than Dan James and Greenwood, 1.1 chances created per game. But what's really interesting, if you go back to, say, the 2015-16 season where he played on that left-hand side, yeah, his creativity there was, 1.3 per game. If we just go back and look at Anthony Martial, his creativity is always generally around 1 to 1.5 chances per game. I haven't looked at every single season. I'm just kind of skimming through it now. In the 2018-19, it was 2 per game. Even at Martial's highest levels of creative output, it still isn't where Jadon Sancho is. And this isn't about attacking James or Greenwood or Martial. It's about saying we need more creativity. And Jadon Sancho is the epitome of that. He can play left, he can play right. For me, it's a no-brainer. That's the one thing we lack. All of our forwards, Dan James isn't a great creator or goal scorer. He's good for running in behind when teams are attacking. For me, if we're 2-0 up and the team's attacking us, throw Dan James on to knock the ball over the top and put him in behind. Great at that. But Greenwood, Rashford, Martial, they are inside forwards or wide. Greenwood will become a striker, but Martial,
he's a striker out wide.
Yeah. But Rashford and Martial are inside forwards who like to score more than they like to create. I look at Sancho the other way around, and that balance is imperative. So it isn't about attacking any Man United player. It's about my football club having the best balance possible. And anybody that doesn't want Sancho because it might stop their favorite player getting game time, My word to you is just support your football club. That's the most important thing here.
Yeah, I just find it funny that people don't want it because it's not the position that they want. Bruv, it's Jadon Sancho, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's Jadon Sancho. We can create more and we can score more goals. The striker will come. The striker will come. I'd rather literally keep Cavani right now in this climate right now, keep him for a year, get Sancho, and then next year or in January buy the striker we're looking for. Because right now, buying these strikers that people want is very hard. Very, very hard right now to sign these strikers. It costs a lot of money. It will take a long time. Jadon Sancho is a deal that can get done potentially before July. You get that done quick. Get it done quick, get it out of the way, and the fee is so much lower than it was in the summer. And he is heads above all the other wingers that we can get out there. Because people are saying Rafinha and Neto, which again, wonderful players. I think they're going to go on to do great things. But with this Jadon Sancho price, for what, an extra 40 million, you can get Jadon Sancho.
Jadon Sancho he's above both. He's above both those players. He just is. He is better than Neto and he is better than Rafinha, and they're very good football players. We have shared the link if you want to phone in this morning and have your say in regards to this news. Do us a favor as well and make sure you sign up to our Discord server. The link for that is in our description below. So we do want to hear from you in regard to this news. And it is big breaking news today that this has been agreed. This isn't Man United have done a done deal. Nobody is making any kind of claims along those lines at all. Nobody is. Absolutely nobody is saying that. But what is for sure is that the reports coming out of Germany are gentleman's agreement in place for Jadon Sancho, first and foremost. Secondly, price is set between 75 to 80 million euros. Thirdly, they want to get the deal done before the Euros. That's the one bit that worries me as a Manchester United fan. Can we get the deal done in enough time? Wes here. Thank you very much for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace, signing up to become an Academy member. Thank you very, very much indeed. We're going to jump into your calls. I love people. I like Terry, but last year you said they set a price and it might get done. Remember, final word I'm saying on this. We report what the media are telling us. We give you the chance to have your say. If you hear me say, my sources tell me that this deal is happening 110%, then we have a problem. I ain't said that. So relax. Cheers. Let's go to some calls here. Abs is with us first. Abs, welcome back to the Terrace, mate. What do you want to say, buddy?
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Yeah, good. What's your thoughts on this Sancho news this morning?
Buzzing. Really, really buzzing. The one thing I would love for Man U to do in the next month, get it signed. If we could sign him, like even get it confirmed now for him to join in the summer, that would be brilliant. And we could just concentrate in the summer on getting a DM. But yeah, I think it's brilliant news. Really, really good news.
Absolutely. What do you make of? There's some people that seem concerned about Greenwood's development, Martial's position, Rashford's position. What's your response to fans who think we're okay in those positions and we should focus elsewhere?
Yeah, it's very interesting because if you actually watch Greenwood can actually play up front or as a number 10. So he'll help improve his all-round game. We just need a top quality right midfielder, which we haven't had for years.
Yeah, I just agree. We just lack creativity. Have you noticed how we've improved since Pogba's really come alive on that left-hand side? Because he's creating. The only problem you have, it takes away from Rashford on the right because he's not great there. So why, if you put a player that's great on the right-hand side, look at that balance. Imagine our right-hand side becomes as potent and as deadly as our left-hand side currently is. And then then maybe there's a way, again, there's so many variations. You could stick, some games you can stick two through the middle. Sometimes it's just one off the top. It could even give you more opportunities to ref Bruno at times where you turn around and say, well, you play Cavani and Greenwood together rather than a number 10. You could have Greenwood dropping a little bit deeper because he can play ball. or more maybe some target and hold up play from Cavani. The way we scored that first goal against Roma was similar to that. You had Bruno running off of him. There are so many more options when you have creativity in your flanks and not just goal scorers. I just think any Man United fan that isn't encouraged by a top-level creator coming into that right-hand side, I just feel like they've got, and I'm not even having a pop at them, I just think their concern isn't the club. Their concern is what I want or my favourite player. And I just implore people to get out of that emotion.
I saw people ask why buy Diallo. Let's not get twisted here. Diallo wasn't brought in to be Jadon Sancho straight away. He wasn't brought in to be a right winger straight away. He was brought in because the club panicked. They wanted to try and recover the transfer window, and apparently Diallo was a target that we've been looking at, monitoring for the last couple of years. So we brought him in, and Sancho coming in actually helps Diallo's development. It relieves the pressure on him to perform. We can ease him in. We can give him games, and he can learn and be part of this strike force. And I've always saying it. I want a strike force, not just one or two man. A strike force, people that can come in and can come out when needed. You're telling me that swapping Sancho for Diallo for a game in a certain circumstance isn't a good thing? It's a brilliant thing.
Yes,
it means that Dan James could either see less game time, or he can go play on his favorite left because he prefers to play on the left anyway. Doesn't mean he's any but much better, but it is what it is. Signing Sancho would help so much with our team, and not even just on the pitch, but with another player's development in Diallo. It will literally see. I believe you can see a fast track of Diallo then, in terms of what we could have seen. We might see a bit earlier because Sancho's there to help him.
Mate, I agree with you. I just look at it and think people are too. We just see it all the time, mate. Everybody is concerned about, my favorite player this or my favorite player that. And I just don't care. Everyone knows that I love Marcus Rashford. But if Sancho comes in and Pogba stays, and Pogba takes his left-hand side of attack by the scruff of the neck and earns it as his place, Sancho comes in and is just as creative here as he was in Germany, and he's creating those 3 chances per game, and we're moving forward as a team and we're delivering. And Rashford is making sub-appearances here and there and not in the first team, but we're winning. I don't care. Like I just couldn't care less. If next season Pogba can't get a game because McTominay and Fred become the best 2 midfielders in the world ever, I'm not going to cry. Like, do you get where I'm coming from? I don't understand this notion. It makes no sense to me. But my baller. I don't even care about the club playing football in the way I want it. I just want the club to win. And that's the most important thing for me.
And Terry, it's interesting. People also forget it. If Sancho actually comes in, I actually think you're going to see an increase in output for Martial as well, which obviously you've got the Martial FC, which is also a good thing for Martial as well. I just think it adds balance to our whole team, which we don't have. We're the most unbalanced team out of the top 4.
Mate, 110% we are. We're shocking, really. Like when you actually think about it in the cold light of day, we're quite shocking. We're quite shocking. When you actually look at the overall balance of Manchester United, it's too heavily weighted towards goal. And you need more than that. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. You need more than that, and we just don't have it. And I've got still here. I've kept Dan James on there. Maybe I could put the low in there. Really, but you look at the potential attacking options next season. Throw Diallo in as well.
Diallo.
You throw Diallo into that as well, and it's like, that's serious, mate.
Oh.
Yeah, literally, all you need to do is swap out Dan James with Ahmad, and you have got a strike force and attacking options that most of Europe would want. Let's be real now.
Yeah.
We praise Man City's options, but them man ain't even got a striker. The Aguero is getting on and he's leaving.
Yeah,
them man have got Jesus. We would have Cavani as our main striker, with a backup of Greenwood and Martial. Rashford as a main left winger, with backup of Martial on the left wing, and then we would have Jadon Sancho on the right with a backup of Amad Diallo or Greenwood. Come on now, you know that's one of the best attacking options in Europe.
I know you just throw that out there, and then I just suddenly sit there and think to myself, why is anyone sort of concerned or worried or frustrated? For me, I just don't get it. It's updated now. See, that's you start looking at that, and you throw like Pogba and Bruno in as the midfielders around it. Craig here, a super chat, says, why has the fan base forgotten about Martial's talent? He has a bad season, but if he gets back to his best along with having Cavani, it's a problem. Listen, bro.
Yeah.
I haven't. All I can do is speak for myself here for a moment. I haven't forgotten about how good Anthony Martial is or has been for Manchester United. My view is I just want to add more talent. I just want to add an array of talent where if Martial isn't delivering, we have multiple other people that can step into the fray and score the goals. Because as much as I want Cavani and Rashford and Greenwood and Ahmad and Martial playing well, my priority is Manchester United Football Club winning games. And I want that competitive nature. And every time I just look at that there with Bruno and Pogba in behind them as the sort of creative.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Look at that.
And funny enough, interesting thing, because I've seen a lot of reports. I feel like Donny's going to have a big season next season. I'm just putting it out there. I feel like Donny is going to have a very good season next season,
and he may very well have. You know, he's such a talented player, and I'd love to see him do it. Because imagine, I'm going to throw the old cliche in, but if Donny comes in next season and he's balling, he's like a new signing. Do me a favor, please, KJ. Can you turn off your WhatsApp notifications, bro?
Sorry, my friend.
That's all right. Just keep getting a noise in my ear. You know, I'm like with noises, bro. We're going to go to some more callers here. We're going to go to Manny, who's a United fan. Manny, welcome to the Terrace. What do you want to say, mate?
Hi, Terry. Are you good?
I'm very well. What's on your mind, buddy?
Yeah, bro. Terry, a few months ago, you said that we as a football club need to buy players for the club, not for the managers or for the fans. And this is Jadon Sancho is the perfect example of a player getting bought for the football club, like for the next 5 to 10 years, not for the single manager. And Jadon Sancho, in terms of creation of chances, he's one of the best in whole Europe, and he's very young as well. We all know that, and we should definitely sign him because we screwed that up last summer, and yeah, we should have had him already. But it is what it is, and if we get him in terms of then we don't need a striker, in my opinion, because if you see Cavani already, when he gets chances, he scores. And I heard KJ say that, if we get Sancho, we can get a new striker next January. But in my opinion, if we get we need to get Sancho first, then we can forget about the striker and focus on the other positions like DM and centre back. So Sancho should be a priority this summer. And I want to touch on something here too, Terry, because if we get Sancho this summer and he gets the number 7 shirt, I would like to know how the fans will react to that, because we all know the Glazers, when the fans buy the merchandise, the Glazers, they get the money, most of them, and I wonder if fans will boycott the merchandise or buy the kits and fund the Glazers. It will be interesting, you know.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah,
it is, and look, listen, I'll give you my personal opinion. As great as all the protests were, I still think people will buy shirts, merchandise. I still think, look, it becomes catch-22. I want Sancho in. But a Sancho signing from a Glazer perspective worries me, because people's energy changes. It always, it's like being in the doghouse at home, but you bring home some flowers and a nice takeaway, and it relaxes the mood. Like these things, people are so in love with Manchester United and want them to succeed. If the football does start to improve, the signings come in, they'll still be focused, but it will relax slightly. However, that's how I feel based on history and what I've seen in the past. I would love to be pleasantly surprised. I would love to see Man United fans say thank you for the signing, but in the words of Cage and Still Bun of Pagans, get the Glazers out, viva la resistance, we're not backing down. That for me would demonstrate the message yesterday on a lot of the placards and a lot of the banners was apology not accepted. We still want you to do the best for the football club, but at the same time, it doesn't mean we're going to forgive you. I hope that's the continued message that comes out. But it is a difficult one. Bro, thank you, Manny, for coming on and having your say. Really appreciate that, mate. Gents, I did also point out as well, there's been a lot of calls in the last 24 hours for Manchester United to be issued 3 points deducted, 3 points to be given to Liverpool, punishment, etc. Henry Winter has put out this morning that there will be no... I said this live on the air because I thought this would be right. Manchester United Football Club broke no rules. They were not, because the fans were not in the stadium as patrons, they are not responsible for them getting into the ground. So it becomes, there was no league rules, no football rules broke yesterday by Manchester United Football Club, if that makes sense. If it was a match day and they were in the ground and they stormed the pitch, then yes. But because they broke in from the outside, there's nothing. So in terms of Man United's punishment, there is going to be absolutely no punishment. But have you all been shocked a little bit? But forget rival fans. I get why some Liverpool fans just want the 3 points because they want that top four desperately, and that's more important to them. Have you been kind of shocked by? And I know there's been some bad footage that's come out from a handful of people with the police and some bottles, and I know that. But 99.9% of people there yesterday did it peacefully. It was carnivalistic atmosphere, done for all the right reasons. Are you a little bit shocked by the outrage from some of the journalists towards the protest yesterday?
Go on, Abs. I've spoke about this a lot, so.
Yeah, doing it is, yeah. And it's the same thing as I was really pissed off with Graham Souness yesterday. They don't understand. That's the problem. They don't understand Manchester United's frustrations, and they just think we're doing this on a whim. That is the biggest problem, is we've been talking about this for 10 years, and because all of a sudden they've now realised, oh, these owners are not good, they're thinking this is a reaction just to be a reaction, where no, this has been a build-up of frustration, and they're just doing it to get clicks. You know what it is. When Man United are involved, it gets clicks. That's just, for me, which is the stupid thing about this.
Yeah, I understand that. I think for me, this always happens, doesn't it? People have vested interest sometimes. It could be, I don't want to lose my match day credentials. I want to be seen to be virtuous because of a few unsavory incidents. There is always, this is where football fans not sticking together worries me. Whenever there's problems with football fans, it's never looked at in the same way. And I understand some people's reaction is it's not serious as other matters to protests around the world, and I get that. But for some people, it is. For some people, it's. We spoke about it yesterday. So a lot of the people yesterday may have a lot of the same issues that other people protest for, and football is their escapism from that, where they just feel like they can get out of a world that they're unhappy in. And when that's being taken away as well, it's sort of like double bubble for people. And I think that that's the element that gets forgotten about here. And it's always the working class element of why do people fluctuate towards football and any area of kind of sort of escapism, whether it be, imagine they changed the way bars and restaurants operated in this country, and people weren't enjoying them anymore, and it was sort of stopping normal people from enjoying it. There'd be outrage, and people go, "Why are you protesting over bars and nightclubs?" Because they're an important part of people's social lives and downtime. Someone I follow, this weekend, spent some time in a pub, and she put out some tweets, and she was like, the way she feels today, the weight of like sort of mental health wise, and the sort of like the weight of the world's now off of her shoulders because she spent most of Saturday in a pub with friends, laughing, joking, having a good time. Imagine that was taken away from you, from how you enjoy it. You would get reactions like we see at football over a period of time, because it's people's social lives being impacted, and having a good and healthy social life is important for your mental well-being in your life. And I don't get why with football people forget this. They go, it's not that deep. But yeah, you're looking at it as 22 men kicking a bit of leather around a field. You're taking away the social and cultural element and what that means to people's lives. And that's where I think people need to be really mindful of this. What does football mean to people and why? That question's never spoken about. And because it isn't spoken about, it's ignored when it comes to people reporting on it. To some journalists, not all, football's just, that's my job. I turn up and talk about the game, but it ain't that important, really. For some, it is. It really is.
Yeah, it's just, again, people don't understand that this has been happening going on for 16 years. Like, they don't remember, people. No, we didn't want them here in the first place. We didn't ask for this. It's not like when it comes to governments, when people elect freaking presidents and prime ministers, and then next thing you know, they want them gone.
Yeah.
We never wanted them here in the first place. So this anger and this rage that people have had towards these people it is justified. It is, for me, it's justified. Because when something happens to you that you do not ask for happens, you do have to just sit there and accept it? No.
Yeah.
So people just need to let it go, yeah, and understand that these things, if you don't get it, find a way to understand, or legit leave it alone.
There's a comment here from iTest that says football means nothing. Let's be real. It's just entertainment.
Oh, what the fuck? What the heck?
So on that, I asked that question to a Leyton Orient fan. Ask that question to a Barnet fan. Ask that question to a Plymouth Argyle fan. A lot football clubs, some are global now, but they all start off in the same way. Generally speaking, built by the local community, owned by somebody from the local community, and they're a central hub for the local community. Some of these clubs are 100 to 150 years of history, and it's something that the villages, the towns, and sometimes in some cases as big as Newcastle, cities focus on. And as we've already mentioned, some people, yes, it's purely just for entertainment. So I understand why you wouldn't feel this way about it. Disregarding how other people feel and what it means to them, what it gives them in their lives, the escapism, the fun, the enjoyment, the social element, that release of serotonin that just keeps them ticking over through hard weeks at work, family problems, illness, and all the other bigger issues that you suffer and go through in life. Football can be that escapism from. To just disregard that eye test, I think you're either being deliberately disingenuous or you're just not thinking about it. You're not putting yourself in other people's shoes. And I think that's a really disrespectful way to look at things.
The thing is, yeah, football means no. If you deep it, out of all the things in the world, someone said it, a famous man said it, football is the most important thing of the most unimportant things.
Yeah.
Which is true. Football in that sense, yes, means nothing. But the reason why it means something is because we give it meaning. From the moment that people give something meaning, that's when it means something. Because if you deep it, nothing in life means anything. Truly, really and truly. I'm sorry to go all philosophical.
Preach.
But nothing in life means anything. The only reason why it does is because we, as humans, give that said thing meaning.
The Overton window is a very important element to look at here. And some people are saying, why protest now? Because it's fashionable. These protests have been going on for 16 years. There have been breaks in between, there is no doubt. Energy has been lost, but this isn't the first, and it won't be the last.
And Terry, the thing people are also forgetting is the game. This is Arsenal versus Liverpool. The fact that it was Arsenal versus Liverpool that got locked off, one of the biggest
Man United
Liverpool, which was one of the biggest games in football that got told, we're cancelling this game because we said so. That's why people are going, whoa, what's going on here? That we've said, no, this game doesn't matter. We care more about this. Should literally open people's eyes.
No, it should, but but what you do have, and I want to say this with respect, is you have a new generation of football fans that have grown up through the Sky Sports era that are like me. I mean, look, I'm a Londoner and I support Manchester United, and I picked them through seeing them on TV initially. It's a different. I've always said this: local fans of local clubs have a different feeling and affinity towards what that club means to them, because you know what, someone who's born and bred in Manchester, we see it as a global brand now, a global icon. They see it as that same local club that's existed for over 100 years, that was built by them as people. There were Man United fans that turned up yesterday whose great grandfathers and mothers physically helped you build the club. It's her heritage. Who are we to talk about that? And then what I think's been a shock to the media companies, the owners in recent weeks, is that the vast majority of the national, European and international fans that support Man United, Liverpool and Arsenal care about that local heritage and history. They thought everybody's like eye test. They just care about the entertainment value. So why does it matter what we do to the local community, the national leagues, the smaller clubs? No one cares about that. They are so out of touch. It is unbelievable. And that was the proudest moment for me. That was the proudest moment for me. We had it on this show, fans from France, from India, from Hong Kong, from America, phoning up and saying, we love English football for every element of English football, where it come from, what it stands for, what it means to the people, the passion of the fans, the competitiveness of the league, the jeopardy, the promotion, the rags to riches stories. That is what made people fall in love with it. None of that is about entertainment. And if you noticed, when the Super League was proposed, less than 5% of football fans thought it was a good idea. Why? Because as soon as you removed all those elements and the competitiveness away, the entertainment factor disappeared. What makes Manchester United so big, aside from the football that you want to be good, is the local history, the city history, the rivalry, the passion, the desire to win. That used to be based between Manchester and Liverpool. It then became national, and it is now international rivalry that people love. If you remove that rivalry, that game means so much less. That is nothing to do with entertainment. It's all to do with the heritage of the game. And that's why people care about it. And I go back to why they care about it, because it means something to them. That escapism from real life, an opportunity to be someone else for 90 minutes is so important. It's why we enjoy movies and box. It's why everyone's so angry with the ending of
Shush.
I'm not telling anyone the ending. I wouldn't do that. But it's why people are so disappointed with it. You can all see that on socials, because they didn't get what they wanted out of it. It's like, I've invested all this time and energy and I'm not getting what I want. And no one's going to protest over that because it's a one-off thing.
Nah, no, Terry, you should have seen it. The way that the Star Wars fans mobilized against the new trilogy, the way that the Game of Thrones fans mobilized against Game of Thrones, like literally.
Exactly.
It's not just football. It's not just football.
It happens everywhere, and it's because of what those things mean to people. And football's even deeper because it is shrouded and ingrained with local, national, and international heritage. And to pretend it doesn't exist and just say it's just entertainment, it's a concert, it's a movie, it's a box set. I feel sorry for people that feel like that. Do you know why I feel sorry for them? Because you're not experiencing the beauty of the sport, the passion of the sport, the anxiety, the anger, the trials, the tribulations, the ecstasy. That's why I love it. Beyond, that was a good bit of skill. The good bit of skill was great. But if it was just about the skill and entertainment, freestyle football would be as popular as actual football. But it's not, because the skill and techers are a side dish to the heart of the game. We're going to take some more calls here from people to have their say. Next up, we've got a man like Aaron's with us. What's going on, Aaron?
Terry, how are you?
I'm very well. What do you want to say, buddy?
Well, firstly, I'm absolutely shattered because I've got 2 streams to do tonight, and I've just finished filming the previous. That's why I'm late to the link, so I apologise for that.
You haven't got to say sorry for being late as a caller, bruv. It's cool. Thank you.
But yeah, on the Sancho thing, look, I think it would really improve the right-hand side for Man United. And look, we're not going to be like pagans and zombies to the Glazers. They're trying to cash us in. Right? And, like you said, we'll be thankful for the signings. For Man United fans, they'll be thankful for the signing. But they won't see it. They won't accept their apology. It's just a good addition. At least they're trying something, but we won't accept their apology. And in terms of the attacking options for United, do I think that Daniel James will go out the door if Sancho comes in? In my opinion, I think he will. I think he'll go somewhere else for football, whether it's on loan or sold. I feel like Daniel James will get more first-team football elsewhere because you've got Greenwood that can play down the right. You've got Diallo on the rise. You've got Palestri coming back. You've got Sancho potentially coming in. There's more options on that right-hand side, and Daniel James will want more first-team football as a youngster. So I feel like Daniel James will be the one that pays the price, and I think Mata might even go as well.
Would you take him at Doncaster Rovers?
Well, with Coppinger retiring, it'd be a nice replacement, but no, I think Daniel James will be the one that loses out. Maybe Palestra goes back out on loan. Do I see Sancho at another Premier League club? Man City, no, unless it's a swap for Sterling. Chelsea, no. Liverpool, maybe. Spurs, hell no. Arsenal, can't afford it. But no, I think Sancho's going to either United or Liverpool, in my opinion. But I would choose Man United personally. But Terry, big up yourself. And I've just finished filming my Blackpool preview, and I'm going to do 2 streams tonight, so I'm going to be absolutely shattered.
Mate, two streams, and you're tired.
Yeah, I've got to do the EFL show on the First 11 channel at R6, and then go to Blackpool fans preview in the evening.
Bro, listen, I average 3.5 streams a day, plus I do a full-time job and look after 3 kids. So start working harder. Work hard.
But thanks for reacting to my Glazers out protest reaction last night when I messaged you the link.
Not a problem, mate. No, I like to give back. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate. Cheers, buddy.
Terry, it's interesting. Aaron brought up something, and let's not sleep on Chelsea. For some reason, I'm scared of Chelsea with this Jadon Sancho deal. I don't know why. It's just something inside me is going, be careful of Chelsea.
Oh, yeah, I'm just scared of Chelsea in general, fam. When they're in the mood, listen, they are the guy, legit, you put in all the work in on the night. You meet the girl, you dance with her, you buy her drinks, but you do everything. Chelsea, that guy, is to walk up at the end of the night, and he's the one that goes home. Yeah. After all your hard work, bro.
Mate, I could not agree with you more. Chelsea. The one thing I would do though, if Chelsea were to buy him, I would seriously say, right, let's go and try and get Callum Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, that's what I would then do. For me, it's like, okay, you got him. We want Hudson-Odoi, because Hudson-Odoi, I think he's huge. If they signed Jadon Sancho, Hudson-Odoi doesn't have a future at Chelsea, in my opinion, because they're not the same player, but for me, it's like they both play that same position. When and how is Callum going to get enough game time? No one really sees him as a fullback forever, so it's got to be off of. The one thing is, he can play very well, by the way, Jadon Sancho, off of that kind of double 10 behind a striker. But if he's there, we know Mason Mount's going to be playing one of those roles. So when's Callum Hudson-Odoi going to play? So I would be annoyed because I want Jadon, but it frees up Hudson-Odoi, and I would say go for him. We've got some more calls here. First up, this should be a treat. Man like Safe is with us. Aye.
Yeah.
Hello, mate. What do you want to say?
Well, I'm not convinced that Sancho will do well at Man United.
Oh,
I don't care what the statistics says, but I don't think so. He's a good player.
What?
Because Manchester City sold him. Hold on. Manchester City sold him. And he's playing for Dortmund now. And Dortmund, I came to the stream last time and I told you that German leagues is not as good as the Premier League.
Okay, safe. Let's get it. First things first. Let's get it right. City didn't sell Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho left. They wanted him to stay. He wanted guarantees that he'd get guaranteed game time under Pep.
Yep.
The man couldn't promise it. He said no to a new contract. And then literally he left for Dortmund, who then played him, who then helped him become the player that he is now. Second of all, you want Haaland.
Yes.
Who plays in the same league.
But Haaland is more creative player than Sancho. That's facts.
He's more what?
He's more creative. He's more creative as a player than Sancho.
What?
What?
He is. So you think Haaland is more creative than Sancho?
That's facts.
I'll get you the facts in. I'll get the facts on the screen in front. You stay there, mate. You stay there. So what? Where have you got this information from? It's just eye test here. Just your eye test.
No. I'm not eye test here, but I'm saying to you that Haaland is far superior player. He scores more goals. He creates more opportunities because he drops from the deep. Is a player like Wayne Rooney.
So chances created per game. Haaland 1.1. Sancho 3. So Sancho creates 3 times as many, 300% more chances created per game by Sancho compared to Haaland. What He's a better goal scorer, but United need creativity. Your opinion is shot to bits, mate. Shot to bits.
Okay. So who told you that Sancho? Let's say that's the biggest game in the Premier League, Liverpool against Man United. Okay.
Yes.
Who told you that Sancho would meet that creative opportunities for other opponents?
So nobody. Nobody said that he would. But let me tell you this is why.
So we're going to spend 80 million pounds to 100 million pounds on the player.
Safe. There is no guarantee that any player is going to deliver what they've done at their previous club. Man United signed.
Haaland would, believe me.
Well, maybe he would, but that's all based on trust me, bruv. Your fact is based on trust me, bruv. But yet when it comes to Sancho, you're saying don't trust me, bruv. Man United signed Alexis Sanchez, who up until he joined Man United was one of the best creative inside forwards in the league. What he did at Arsenal was sublime. Didn't work out at Manchester United. Morgan Schneiderlin joined Man United as one of the best, at the time regarded one of the best CDMs in the country. Yep. Didn't work out at Manchester United. There are multiple examples of players leaving clubs, even within our own league. Fernando Torres, another example, did the move, didn't work out how people wanted. Lukaku from Everton to Man United, the thought was he'd score even more goals at Man United. Didn't work out for him. You look in the other direction, Jesse Lingard's doing for West Ham what he can never do for Manchester United. There's never a foolproof plan for signing anybody. You just saying he won't do it, trust me. What are you basing that on? You're basing it on in playing in the league that you think substandard, but you want a player from that same substandard league. Makes no sense.
It does make sense because Sancho, how many chances can he create against Bayern Munich in a full 90 minutes game? Tell me.
How many players in world football can create chances against Bayern Munich? What are you talking about?
Messi does. Ronaldo does.
When did Messi and Ronaldo do that?
Because you're safe. Because Sancho is not one of the two greatest players to ever play football. He's not good enough to play for Man United.
He isn't good enough to play for Man United because he only can do it for low block teams such as Everton, West Ham. He can create these opportunities, but big matches he can't.
Safe. So did you watch Sancho in the Champions League?
Before you go up, Terry, please get Jadon Sancho's record up against the so-called big teams that he's Safe is on about, please. So I just want to know, because I want to know where he's getting this idea from, because it makes no sense. As you were saying.
Yeah, Safe. If you watch Sancho in the Champions League, against Tottenham, against PSG, against all the big boys, he has also performed to a high standard. So what you're saying doesn't make no sense, because it does against both scale of oppositions from small teams and big teams. For you to say Jadon Sancho would not be creative against a Liverpool, where would you get that from? If our current team is as creative against Liverpool, how would adding Jadon Sancho be not a plus? That's the thing I'm not understanding.
So he averages 3 chances created per game, Jadon Sancho. Okay, on average. I'm just looking here, in his last 6 games where he starts against Bayern Munich, he's averaged 2.3 chances per game. So a slight reduction, but that's up against a Bayern Munich team that has won trebles. This is against one of the best teams in the world, and he's still creating more chances. He created more chances against Bayern Munich per game than Rashford, Dan James, and Greenwood do versus Burnley combined. So chatting out your bum crack. Listen, bro, thank you very much for coming on and having your say, bruv. So honestly, mate, there's some of these fart opinions are mad, bruv. I just listen. It's just one of them ones, isn't it? It's
that's funny. The player that he wants from Dortmund, in the same league that he thinks is crap, he relies on a certain Jadon Sancho to get most of his goals. But hey, Jadon Sancho's not good enough because he's not Ronaldo and Messi. So is what it is.
Terry, and this weird thing that the German league is not good enough. It's false. The German league play a different style of football where all the teams play a high line. So that's why you see much more of an open game. So that's why, for me, Timo Werner was always going to struggle in the Premier League, because his game is all about running behind, which you're not going to get a lot of that in the Premier League. But to say Jadon Sancho is not good enough to play against Liverpool I'm like, wow, that's
It's
crazy.
It's a mad take. We've got Michael on the show now. Michael, what are you saying, buddy?
Oh, I wanted to bang my head at what that guy was saying. Like, literally wanted to bang my head. To say Jadon, listen, I've watched Jadon Sancho for years, and for me, he's a quality player. Like, he's a very, very good player. You know what I mean? I've watched him. For me, is he still injured for Dortmund?
No, he's back. He's back.
Is he back now? Yeah, because I know when he hasn't been playing, Dortmund has struggled massively without him.
He's back, and they're back to winning again. Like they look like
it's no coincidence. You know what I mean? Like Haaland's game is different. He's like you know what I mean? He's a striker that likes to score in the box, but he relies on service as well. If you actually like watch his game, do you know what I mean? If he goes to Chelsea, I mean, you know what I mean? It'd be very interesting because if he goes to Chelsea, I mean, what do you mean for like the likes of Hudson-Odoi and Hakim Ziyech? Because you know Ziyech hasn't been really hitting the heights in my opinion for Chelsea at the moment, but. Nah, to say Jadon Sancho, like Messi and Ronaldo are our nominees. They're like one of the greatest players of all time. No one's ever going to hit that level. But Sancho, for me, he's a world-class player, and he will do very well in the Premier League. Very, very well.
He will. If you look at him, and if you look at Champions League, their FA Cup, and the Bundesliga, since he's arrived, he assists in 46% of his games. He gets a second assist, so the key pass that opens up the chance for the assist in 23% of his games. This is how good his passing and crossing is.
Are we talking about Sancho?
Sancho.
Yeah.
He's XA, so his expected assists it should be 0.29, but it's at 0.46. And that's because he invariably puts in balls and crosses that he shouldn't be able to make from those positions because it's individual brilliance that brings that out as an example. So
he's very versatile as well. He can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can sometimes play just behind. You know what I mean? He's very good.
46% of his games he assists him. 23% of his games he gets the second assist in. At the same time, across all those competitions, he creates 2.2 chances per game. If you just look at it as the league by itself, it's 3. If you look at the Champions League, which is the elite end of that spectrum, he's creating over 2 chances per game, as an example. So slightly less in the Champions League, but it's a higher quality of competition where things change. So more teams play low block against Dortmund in that because they don't want to be open and expansive against them. When they play against the bigger teams, they do. The disrespect that Jadon, and if you look at him overall, he gets an assist across all those competitions, as I mentioned. He gets an assist in 46% of the games, and he scores a goal in 40% of them games, which means 86% of the time he's scoring or creating, and 23% of the time he's creating the assist for the goal, which means it's like he's literally involved in every single game with a goal, either in the build-up, like heavily involved in the build-up, one of the key passes in the build-up, the assister, or the goal scorer. He's done that since his debut. He's played 133 games, and his goal contribution rate across all 3 metrics is over 100%. He is beyond phenomenal. That doesn't take.
Not only has he got the stats for it, he's got the eye test as well.
Thank you.
That's what I was going to say.
He's got the eye test for it. You know what I mean?
Terry,
the dribbling, the passing, the eye test. He's phenomenal.
Terry, do you know what's crazy? Yeah, you can probably say that Jadon Sancho is the best footballer at Dortmund, but Haaland's the better player. But if we talk about actually pure footballer, Jadon Sancho is probably the best footballer at Dortmund. That's the thing. Why are people hating on him? I don't get it.
Do you know what it is? I'm going to be very controversial here and say it's because he's linked to Manchester United. He's just, what will end up happening is he'll end up coming in, he's going to kill it, whatever club he's at, and then he'll see people go, oh, he's all right, actually, isn't he? Like, it's one of them ones. Terry, how does Sancho fit in at Liverpool? He'd have to replace Mane or Salah. He is not coming to Liverpool to sit on the bench behind either of those 2 players.
I reckon it'd be Salah. Salah.
I think it's
because
Salah
because how many years he's got left in his contract? He's got about 2 years left. And the thing is, like, as Mane's having a shocking. I mean, I don't know why Klopp keeps playing him. He's having a shocking season. Like, I've seen him have bad patches, but this is probably his worst patch. But yeah, if Sancho goes in, it would be to replace Salah. But the thing is, my instance is telling me I have a feeling he's going to go to Liverpool. And for the sake of his career, I know you're a Man United fan. Personally, I don't think he would do well at United, but at the same time, I reckon he will struggle with United because of the style of player you guys play at United. I think he'll probably be better fitted at Liverpool than he would with United, in my opinion.
I get that, but the sort of style of play thing, we get told that we play freestyle football and only can play on a counter-attack. What did Dortmund do best?
Like, yeah, but Dortmund have a system. Dortmund have a proper system that, you know what I mean, in terms of the way they pressed. Like when they had that other coach before they sacked him, I think he used to play like a 4-4-2 diamond, or sometimes your 3-4-3. Like Sancho is like your creative winger, but he also relies on the system as well to be able to like express himself. He will do well. Hey, we might do all right at United in terms of where you play, but at the same time, there are times where he will probably struggle.
Yeah,
and I know you guys
will struggle. Like everyone, like people have gone to Liverpool and Thiago's gone to Liverpool and struggled, and they've got a perfect system that shouldn't be able to get beat. Like you just said, oh, he relies on a system, but he also needs somewhere he can express himself. But then United get is like all you do is say to the boys, go express yourselves. So again, I just don't get the to say that he would only do okay and he would struggle at United for X, Y, and Z.
No. Listen, he could do well at United. You know what I mean? Like he could do well at United, sort of thing, innit? But the thing is like, yeah, you guys have had a good season, but then I've watched you guys this season where you've been poor, but managed to still get results out, and you know what I mean. And Pogba, in my opinion, is probably be one of the players that's managed to get you guys going in terms of attacking. When Pogba's not in the team, you guys are completely different.
Who do you support, just out of interest?
Oh, I was a neutral.
Yeah, no, who
I'm a Saints fan. I'm a Saints fan.
Oh, he's Southampton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Born and bred.
Oh, you know what it is? Man is still hurting from that 9-0, bro. That's what it is, isn't it?
I knew you lot were going to say that. But no. You know what? I knew you were going to say it. But I'm a football fan.
I hear you, bro. Listen, Michael, thank you for calling in. Great call, mate. Great points being made there by yourself. Really appreciate it, Michael. Top man. And that's what we want on the football terrace. We want different opinions. We want challenge. We don't want it to be just prescribed normal nonsense. People are super delusional, putting Messi and Ronaldo standards to every player. Messi and Ronaldo are aliens. Remember, Sancho is still a kid. He's still only 21. That's the mad thing. But his apprenticeship has been amazing. United are ready for him. Liverpool are ready for him. Chelsea are ready for him. Where is he going to go? Listen, everyone that has tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back. We've got a really big special guest on the show later that's been killing it on Arsenal socials recently. He's going to be on the Football Terrace later on today. We will this evening be doing a preview ahead of Manchester City versus PSG. And I don't know, have you guys all seen Andy Tate's video involving PSG?
No.
Have none of you seen this? He sent me it like yesterday afternoon. I think he may have been at the protests. Let me go on to he then posted it on Instagram, so I'll play it for you. It had me dying. It had me legitimately dying with laughter, right? Let me find it here. Echoing. Andy Tate. Let me find him here. All right. Hang on. Instagram videos annoy me because you can't ever play them back. I'm going to share the screen, then play it through. So he's walking through Manchester, and then he comes across Manchester City's official team bus. So he comes across their bus. I'm going to put it up here so you can see it, and now play some sound.
This is fucking brilliant, this! PSG! Come on, Paris! Come on, Mbappe! Fuck him up!
Look at that. He's so excited. Come on, Mbappe. Can you imagine? Like, the players must have heard or seen that. Like, they were so bloody loud. It made me, honestly, I saw that and I absolutely died with laughter. It was so funny. It was so funny. It was. But there we go. That's Andy Tate for you. A super chat here says, I'm worried that this doesn't seem like we've been linked with a DM. I think we are in a desperate need for one. Fred is not good enough. Let's see what happens. We have been linked with Rice. I've seen us linked with slightly with Ndidi. I've seen us linked with Basuma. So watch the space on this one. I think you will see some movement there. Everyone who's tuned in today, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye.